As a loyal supporter of Dixie, a true red believer in the cause and a white activist, I want you to stay right where you are. As President Trump said, statues commemorating the Confederacy and Robert E. Lee are things of beauty. And if removed, will be greatly...
Who are you talking to? Don't you know you're alone? That piece of stone can't talk.
I know that, but I had to get something off my chest. What's that?
A shroud. And I'm putting it over this Confederate in order to, because he's a traitor to our country. Until he gets carried away.
I can't let you do that. Whoa, no.
No, you.
Did you see that?
What?
It moved. The general's hand, it moved.
You're nuts.
I've been called worse. I wonder how you came to be here, but I'm sure glad you are.
It's a part of American history that's unknown to a lot of people. Most of the Confederate statues and monuments are built between 1895 and 1915 at the direction of the United Daughters of the Confederacy.
How do you know that?
Because I studied it. I'm getting my master's in American history at the University of Virginia.
Well, bless your heart.
Actually, all the monuments and statues were part of a campaign to paint the Southern cause in Civil War as just and slavery as a benevolent institution. Did you ever see Gone with the Wind?
Fine movie.
Hardly. Did you know these statues were put up at the time of Jim Crow violence and oppression of African Americans? They were explicit symbols of white supremacy.
Is this a symbol of white supremacy? What American history is that? Nothing I know of. I don't know how to get through to you. Even though the South lost the war, we shouldn't disrespect the soldiers who fought for their beliefs. Many of them died, too. As a Vietnam vet, I remember when I got back, being ignored, harassed, and spit on. There was no thanks for our service and our sacrifice.
That was all before I was born.
War statues and memorials are not about winning or racism. They stand for devotion. Never forget that.
So you think that Nazis should be honored in Germany who died for their cause?
Yep, I do.
You know, as much as this is personal for you, it is even more so for me. I'm not just a black person, but I'm a Jew too. My great-grandfather survived the ovens of Dachau, and my mother's great-greats the lash of the slave owner's whip. When I saw on TV, your fellow protesters holding torches and waving Nazi flags and heard them chanting the Nazi slogan, "Blood and soil, and Jews will not replace us," I felt attacked. I've known American racism never went away, but to hear this bold, anti-Semitic rhetoric was shocking. And now that I've seen it up close, with protesters' faces twisted in rage, I can't unsee it.
It wasn't only our side. President Trump said we had some very fine people. Besides, I saw some of your folks wearing helmets and carrying guns. They looked and sounded pretty violent to me.
You can't compare our small group of anti-fascists with your neo-Nazi crowds.
Don't tell me what I can't do. President Trump said there was hate, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides.
Did you know your side never mentioned Lee? It was all Sieg Heil! Sieg Heil! I think the president was dead wrong by placing blame all around.
What are you saying about my president?
Oh, fuck Trump. Fuck him, that's what.
Oh, yeah?
Stop! There'll be no arguing about whether my statue stays or goes. Since this matter concerns me more than anyone else, I would think you'd both like to hear my opinion.
I'd be most honored, General.
And you? I suspect as a student of American history, you already know, but I might be wrong. I wrote 2 letters on this very subject. The first one was in 1866 to former Confederate General Thomas Rosser, who wanted to know what I thought of having a commemorative monument of myself made. I replied, however grateful it would be to the feelings of the South, the attempt and the present condition of the country would have the effect of adding to the difficulties under which the Southern people labor. And all I think that can be done now is to aid our noble women in their efforts to protect the graves and mark the last resting place of those who have fallen and wait for better times.
And what about your second letter?
Oh, in that one, I declined an invitation in 1869 from the Gettysburg Battlefield Memorial Association to help mark the positions of the fallen troops in that 1863 battle of Granite Memorials. I wrote it thought it wiser not to keep open the sores of war, but to follow the example of those nations who endeavored to obliterate the marks of civil strife, to commit to oblivion the feelings engendered.
General, so you are against Civil War monuments of any kind. We get that. But now, whose side do you favor? Mine or his?
Yeah, I want to know. Whose side are you on?
That's all I have to say.
Well, shit.
Yeah, that's no help at all.
I can't believe we agree on something.
A white activist.
And a black activist.
A Jew, too. I've got an idea. We can keep the statue,
Hey, girl, I knew you'd see the light.
but with a plaque stating Lee supported the evil of slavery, the bedrock of the Confederacy that tore families apart, forced rapes upon black women, and killed those who opposed it.
No! Take this.
At least I compromised.